Hey Dom, this is Dave Decide. Today I want to get into some new craziness that is occurring right now. V was spotted at a party and there was some speculation online. I also want to get into some romantic pictures that were posted by V himself and HYBE calling someone out. So hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Let's get into it. The first thing that I need to talk about is some of these super cute romantic pictures that were taken and posted by V. In K-pop there is something that idols called boyfriend pictures. These are some of the cutest pictures you'll see idols post, and they fall more into the fan service type of photos. They aren't professional pictures usually, and that's the whole point. It feels like photos that are taken on a phone that you would take with your partner, like a picture taken of what you see sitting across from your partner on a dinner date, or walking to the beach together and you see the back of them. Things like this. It serves as fan service as the many millions of people who support and love the specific member want to know what it's like to date the boys and want to fulfill that fantasy. And one of the main things that I can understand why dating is such a big scandal among K-pop idols is this reason, because if they are dating someone, it ruins the fantasy for the audience. But this is why we have to talk about dating candidly and talk about it like it's not a big deal, because if we don't, the jealous people who don't want the members to date will think that they have a right to attack the members when they date, because they see everyone else making a big deal about it too. But anywho, let's talk about the photos V posted. It was just based on his story, so they will disappear soon and maybe even before 24 hours are up, because we know he loves that delete button. But it was already quickly shared all over Twitter. I believe these photos might be from his time in Paris, and he posted that he was having a steak and fries, which looked so good, looked like a very formal restaurant. Everyone was wearing a collared shirt, and definitely if you went to a fancy date with V, this is what it looked like. I had a feeling that it was probably his manager or whatever that took these photos for him. It was really nice to see him kind of sit there and enjoy his little time off and break. Looks like no one really noticed him. He was just able to kind of sit and eat in peace. And typically when you're at an upscale restaurant, even if people do notice you, it's a lot more subtle and they don't want to get kicked out of the restaurant. And typically with an older crowd that would even be able to afford to eat at these upscale places, they tend to have a sense of subtleness when meeting people, and the idea of meeting a celebrity at an upscale restaurant is not unheard of. Places like Nobu in California, and even certain brunch places in New York, always have celebrities and sometimes even paparazzis hanging out. And of course, people in New York or California are so used to seeing celebrities, it's never a screaming game when you run into them. I've run into a few celebrities myself, and it always feels like you're catching up with a friend. But V wasn't the only one posting things online. Weverse actually put out an interview thing. If you aren't aware, Weverse is a platform that HYBE or Big Hit had created themselves. The platform, you can make an account and all that, but it's not similar to YouTube or Instagram where you can just make an account and then grow and then become a well-known artist. It's only for the artists in the HYBE label and typically people who have some sort of fandom already. But this also means that every post made by the official artist or whatever is coming from the label and coming from the official source. It's not going to be someone pretending to be the artist. We can be sure that if it's on Weverse, it's authentic. There was a music writer named Randy Suh who posted about BTS visiting the White House on July 20th. He talked about, of course, the significance of this and the cultural shift and all that. He also went on about a big issue of the importance of BTS. Many people who don't understand, BTS isn't just a big Korean group, but a chance for Asians to be more widely recognized in mainstream media. I don't know if we can give credit entirely to BTS, but the fact of the matter is that since their debut in America, we have noticed a huge rise in Asian media in the mainstream. K-dramas have always been a big thing, but it was not acknowledged by the American mainstream. Anime is now mainstream, and anime has been around forever. I feel like all of these forms of media were kind of right at the edge, but couldn't break through the glass ceiling, and then BTS did, and the floodgates opened. But it took them doing that for any of this to get any real notoriety. Randy continued to call out someone or some company by name, specifically Columbia Records. If you aren't aware, and it's pretty confusing so I can break it down, BTS is obviously under HYBE or Big Hit. That is their official label. Now, Big Hit or HYBE has a bit of connection within Korea, meaning they likely can easily get any singer or artist on Korean news or radio, but they wouldn't have connections within American media or American stores. This is where they need an American distributor to get BTS's physical album in stores, to get songs on American streaming platforms like iTunes, to get BTS on the radio, which for labels is often just a phone call, to get BTS news interviews and of course shows like Jimmy Fallon or whatever. The label's job is to pitch to these shows and news stations, and the news stations decide, okay, well, BTS brings in a big audience audience, they have a big following, they could increase ratings, let's bring them in. And all of this would be near impossible or very difficult to do without an American distributor. So BTS signed with Columbia Records for their American stuff. That doesn't mean they left Big Hit, they just signed on another deal. Randy called Columbia out by saying that they allegedly refused to help BTS get Korean songs on the radio. So we often didn't hear that much Korean music until the English songs came out. So songs like Dynamite and Butter. So apparently Columbia was able to push those and get those on the radio. And I do believe that because I remember when Butter came out in the summer, the next day I was out and about and I heard it all over the radio and on the streets. But other BTS Korean songs we almost never hear on the radio. It's exclusive to online and you have to search for it. I also, my conspiracy, believe that the record labels have some impact on the trending page on YouTube. But that is just a theory. But I do agree with Randy's statement and what he said. I think it's quite weird to withhold songs that you know would do well just because it's in another language. And we've had this speculation for a while, but it's nice to hear it from someone directly. A lot of Korean immigrants would be excited or happy to hear their language on the radio. It makes them feel accepted and it would mean a lot. My theory as to why that is, it has to be political. There has to be some reason like that of not wanting to spread Korean agenda in the mainstream. As if being Korean is something that isn't mainstream. Only niche and underground hipsters know of the Korean people and their language. I am glad that we are getting more songs on the radio and that are of other languages. It feels very nice. Maybe we can get Chinese and Japanese songs too. I'm also excited for more Korean dramas. They seem to be really shining at the moment, and I think V is going into acting or hanging out with his acting friends. It's such a good and smart way for him to possibly even ride that trend that is happening right now. V has been attending parties. He was specifically seen at actor Park SeoJoon's premiere party, and people had noticed photos online. There were some photos where V was being snapped at a distance, and the fandom has an issue with photos of V being taken without his permission, and these photos appeared like V didn't know. However, it was those who didn't look into it that had assumed that. It was actually seen originally posted on Park SeoJoon's Instagram, and he posted those photos showing everyone at the party and V included. Of course, V at this party full of actors and famous people, he would think that there would be an occasion in which he is being recorded. I mean, I'm sure we have all had this experience where you're out with your friends and all of your friends are avid social media users and you'd record and post on your story and then you'll check and you'll see that so-and-so tagged you. Technically, you didn't give them permission, but you might be happy that they did record you because now you have a memory of it. So that seems like what happened. V did take pictures where he was posed and all that, so there was permission for that. He was sitting next to Park Sandara. Sandara is a singer, I believe, and people were immediately coming up with theories. Of course, the obvious, V and Sandara dating. I think this is such a weird position for him. V at that event probably knew that this was going to happen online by sitting next to a pretty girl, but what was he supposed to do? If he were to get up, Sandara would be like, what did I do to him? But no, I don't believe anything romantic happened. I believe they just had a conversation. It was a party and they all got to know each other. So no, I don't think any stalkers or Sasaeng fans attended the party or anything like that. Seems like the location was kept top secret, and I don't think Sandara and V were getting chummy at all. But what do you think about all this? How do you feel about Sandara and V at SeoJoon's party? How do you feel about V's cute boyfriend pictures posted on his story? And how do you feel about Randy calling out Columbia Records? Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. I think it says lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.